Black folks. Your number. Will you tell her that? For real, though. I got caught cheating. You did. You never cheated. And out loud, we keep it 100.
Hey guys, welcome to Out Loud with your girl Claudia Jordan. Now tonight we're talking to the cast of VH1's Love and Listings about working in the high stakes world of celebrity real estate. They're here to talk about the obstacles people of color face when searching for a home. So you know that's going to be some good tea. The importance of Black home ownership and so much more. And later on in the show, my man KJ is joining us and we're talking to relationship and sex expert Shamyra Howard about the right time to buy a house with your significant other, and we're gonna put the pressure on him. Oh, is my mother trying to call the house phone right now? Mom, you gotta wait. Okay, anyways, welcome. Please welcome the cast of VH1's Love and Listings, Zach Giles.
What's going on? What's going on? How you doing?
Taylor Schwartz.
Hello, hello.
And Ajani Scott. Hello.
Hey.
All right, you guys, out the gate, I gotta ask y'all, how have you kept from kind of going stir crazy during COVID? Because we talked a little bit before the show, and for the most parts, most of y'all have been responsible.
Most of y'all, key part. Ladies first. Who wants to take it? Ladies first.
Well, so I guess I'll start. Let me take out the elephant in the room, what you were referring to, Claudia, with the most. I actually have tested positive for COVID-19. Not out partying or anything like that, though. My boyfriend is getting ready to go overseas, so he had to train in Vegas, and so I went with him, and unfortunately with him working out in the gym with so many people, we got it. So I've been in quarantine for almost 2 weeks now. I'm about to just stay in the house until I get a negative test result, but it's not that bad for me. I'm young, I'm healthy. It could be worse. So I'm okay. I'm doing fine. And I'm alive.
Can I ask you something? And you got to keep it 100 on Out Loud, okay? Because that's what we do. So when you were in Vegas with your boyfriend as he was training in the gym, you was with him shooting in the gym. Very good, very good. Did you hit any of the casinos?
I didn't. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. We went to Vegas like when it first opened, and we were in the casinos, and I did not catch it. So this one time I'm actually being responsible. It was actually like a work trip for him. And I just happened to catch it. But no, not this time. I was not in the casino this time, but I lost 700 in July, okay?
How about yourself? How have you been keeping from going crazy? Because, I mean, I know a lot of people have definitely increased their alcohol intake.
You know what? When quarantine first started, I was drinking quite a bit, and I'm drinking today, but I have really reduced my drinking significantly, and I've replaced it with water, and I've been working out like 2.5 hours a day at this point because I have the time to do so. It was hard having so much time on my hands, but I've found time to do things that I'm passionate about outside of real estate and invested that time. But it's very scary. So at first you don't know what to do. Like, can I start new projects? Is this temporary? Is this long term? I don't know what to do. So I don't know if you guys know, but I'm a singer as well. I make music, and I have been working on that craft and working on getting in shape since I have the time. I mean, that's been a big excuse for me, but now anything that you've ever had an excuse, like I don't have the time to do, you have the time now, and that's where I'm at with it. And I've been super, super, super quarantined. Like, I don't go out unless it's 100% essential because I'm not trying to see what's going on with COVID. Like, I don't want it at all.
No quarantine bay?
Yes. Oh, that?
We'll get it.
Oh, that.
No, she said quarantine bay.
Well, I mean, I had a boyfriend going into this. So, of course, we're still together, and that has tested our relationship. So I wouldn't even call him quarantine bae. That's my boyfriend. So we're enduring this together, and we're still together, and we're stronger for it.
Very good answer. Love it. Zach?
That was a strong PR marketing answer.
That was good, right?
That was strong right there. Like, you got hooked up on that shit. I like that. I've been golfing. You know what I'm saying? So right before COVID hit and everything kind of shut down, I had a client, or I still have a client, who was actively looking, and we had looked at a property, he saw it, he loved it, and then like 5 days later, shit shut down. So he kind of put it on the back burner, and then from there, you know, I've been golfing. Like I'm out on the links. You feel me? Because that's like the only thing that was open, and they're only one person to cart, so I'm never by anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like your shot is way over here. I'm in the fairway. You suck. I'm over here. So it's like, so I turned 35, so I had a birthday. So I've just been kind of just taking advantage of the downtime and being able to drive around some of these golf courses.
So let me ask you something, Zach. I can tell from the window. Looks like you're in like a nice, sexy residence. Nice bachelor pad. How has it been for you during the quarantine? And have you been getting some quarantine booty, love, whatever you want to call it?
Quarantine booty?
Man.
Quarantine booty.
I plead the fifth. No,
what?
No, I do okay. I do.
No. There's no pleading the fifth.
Yeah.
Out loud.
That's not the story I was told, actually.
Yeah,
so
I do okay. I do okay. So like beginning of quarantine, there was somebody I had kind of started like, kicking it with. But recently kind of just decided to take a step back. But outside of that, you know what I'm saying? I moved. So I moved. I got a little dog. So his ass he was a handful. Like that showed me I wasn't ready. I mean, I'm not ready, but like kids and shit, you know what I mean? I'm like, cause this little asshole, he pissed on my forehead one night. Like, cause I slept on the couch, so I didn't have to put him in the crate. I woke up at 6:30 in the morning to a splash of piss on my forehead, and you can just understand what happened from there. Like it wasn't. So.
Oh my gosh.
It's been.
I like how you use the dog to divert our attention away from
right. You like that? You like that? You like that?
I do this, okay?
You like that?
I do this.
I like how you caught that though.
Yeah, he like, oh, it didn't work out, and then the dog.
But this dog though pissed on my forehead.
No, I'm chilling. I'm chilling. I'm at the point that I'm chilling. It's tough out there right now. You know what I mean? You really can't do things, and I'm not in the mix like that. I stay out the way. You feel me? Like I'm on.
Did you have a rotation before the quarantine?
What's that now?
Did you have a rotation before the quarantine?
Ah, because that's when we were filming the show, and that's when I was going through my shit with, you know what I'm saying? So I was literally, I didn't do shit. Like, I was trying to see where I was gonna go. You feel me? So I didn't, like, while we were filming, I was like, so once that kind of like, once I figured out that wasn't the thing, and I kind of broke the seal on that. You know what I'm saying? I was
talking in code.
Once I was dealing with, you know what I'm saying?
Well, with Samantha, I don't want to, because we're talking about the show, Samantha. Like, so when I was dealing with Samantha, Samantha.
Thank you.
Here you go. See, that wasn't so hard. I will say this, brothers, I love my brothers, okay? But you guys are a Jedi mind trick experts at that, like using pronouns, not really saying the name. Oh, girl, it is whoop-de-whoop. Like, I get all that.
Hey.
Once I was dealing with, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right. Okay, so for those that are involved, that want to admit and claim, are you enjoying spending quality time with your loved ones? Is it making it better for you, or is it making it worse? Because like some people really are just discovering they don't really like the person that they decided to be in a relationship with, and they're annoying, and you didn't know these things because you got time away. And some others are saying it really strengthened their relationship.
For me, I'm going to go ahead and say that it has strengthened my relationship with my boyfriend, because I'm a very independent woman who values and enjoys her own personal space. So we made the decision to stick together and basically move in together because we wanted to just risk being around each other. We're not going to risk seeing friends, seeing family, anything like that. We're just going to be each other's risk. So if you get it, I get it, that type of thing.
Right.
So that has definitely strengthened our relationship to the point where I'm willing to move in with this person now. And had it not been for us quarantining together, I would not have known that we were compatible under one roof the way that we are. So it's been a good thing for our relationship. Now, I'm not saying ain't been no doors slamming and drinks thrown and curse words and you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not, it ain't been no, you know what I'm saying? But it has been something that has definitely strengthened my relationship. And had I gone through this with somebody else, I don't know that our relationship would be able to withstand it. So it's definitely a test.
Yeah. Okay.
For me, I feel like I'm in a long distance relationship. So my boyfriend plays overseas. So I don't see him like 9 months out of the year, like 8 months out of the year. So he came back and he lived with me. The season got canceled. So he moved in with me and that was our first time living together. And so living together for the first time and then being in quarantine, it was a lot. Okay. Quarantine, I'm not going to lie. It almost broke us. Like that was hard. We've been on and off for about 4 years now, but us living together and like not really being able to like do anything outside. We were even going to his workouts together and we were working out together. So it's like we were really spending every waking moment together. And for that being your first experience living with somebody, it was definitely difficult. I do think that it brought us closer together. And I do think that at the end they were stronger for it. And we can say that we made it through this, but it was some trying freaking times. Okay. I have a 1-bedroom, 500 square foot apartment and us two in here. It got a lot sometimes. It was a lot of like, oh, I kind of want you to leave right now.
Right.
But we made it. We made it through. He's back overseas now. So he literally just left today overseas. So now it's just kind of the struggle of like, when is Europe going to open up borders and let me come see him? Because obviously he can't come here anymore. So that's just like our newest, I guess, trial right now. But quarantine, it almost broke us, but we made it through and we're stronger at the end, I feel.
I think a lot of things are being affected during the time. A lot of people's friendships, a lot of people's relationships. It's really been there is a blessing in this curse, I think. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So I got to ask you guys about work and your careers. How has the real estate market, been impacted with the outbreak of COVID? I know personally, my guy's still been showing homes and has it slowed down for you? In Texas,
I'm gonna go ahead and say like real estate is a very resilient business, especially here in LA. And I feel like it has been one of the least impacted occupations going through this whole virus, because at the end of the day, people with money are still moving. They're still moving. They're determined. They're determined to meet their goals and do what they set out to do. And they're, for lack of better explanation, not about to be defeated by no virus. So, it's still moving and shaking, and you have to be able to adapt in this business at all times, virus or no virus. So the fact that we had a virus, everybody just adapted. There was no panicking. There was no, what are we going to do? It's how are we going to push forward and adapt and still be able to service our clients seamlessly.
Definitely. I've definitely still closed deals in the pandemic. My team has closed deals in the pandemic. My team's been working on a lot of like price range, like around 700,000 houses or condos in that price range have been flying multiple offers. Like my team is coming back to me like, we got beat out in a bidding war. Like everything has multiple offers going over asking price. Like the clients are still there. The buyers are there. The sellers are there. The market really has not slowed down for me personally and for my team. And I'm sure for a lot of other agents in LA.
Wow. Yeah, and it was just one of those things where, like I said, at the beginning of it, there was just the uncertainty of what was going on. The stock market had kind of crashed. COVID had just hit, so there was just that uncertainty. I think that faded like very, 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 very fast. Right within about 2.5, 3 weeks, there was people moving. Yeah. Eric Miles on our show, he's closed at least I think $11 million worth of real estate since COVID hit.
Wow.
Leasing right now,
leasing is going crazy.
Yeah.
So I have, with Joe Hayden, I leased his house out, and his financial advisor, because you got to think in the beginning of COVID, LA wasn't hit as bad as everywhere else, right? So New York. So he had his financial advisor fly out from New York to live in his house with his family. People were migrating to LA, you know what I mean? So the market is like, oh shit, hey, this shit is gone. It's gone. It's gone. Like, what are you looking for? It's gone. You know what I mean? So
especially with the short term. Short-term housing market. Yeah.
Wow.
The short term has been crazy.
That is great to hear that business was still booming for you guys despite a pandemic. So let's take a quick break and we'll be back with more insight into the look in their lives and real estate and all their business. I got more questions when we come back to Fox Soul.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
You told me not to talk to strangers. You told me not to cross the street without looking both ways. You told me not to touch the stove.
You told me not to do drugs.
You told me not to drink and drive.
You gave me so many messages about how to stay safe. Why didn't you keep me safe by properly storing your gun?
Welcome back to Out Loud right here on Fox Soul. I'm joined by the cast of Love and Listings on VH1, and we are talking about the real estate market and their business and their love lives, and if it's a good time to buy real estate. So let's just get into some real estate stuff real quick. Why are people leaving some cities in droves? I mean, the whole country is pretty much affected, but why are people doing this?
It was just so, there were certain cities that were affected harder than others when everything first hit. Like we kind of touched on earlier, California with how, New York got hit hard, you know what I mean? Because you got to understand, New York, everybody's on top of each other. It's there's not a lot of space. So in LA, we're kind of spaced out. So people were kind of just migrating out here to get away from COVID because we weren't as progressive as other states. So with that being said, the rental market out here just skyrocketed, you know what I mean? And then the interest rates started dropping, like just took a plummet. So that kind of woke people up who were renters. Maybe I'm a renter, but now I'm seeing that these interest rates are like 3%. Like, oh shit, like I could probably save money buying a house right now rather than renting. So it's a lot of different moving parts.
So even though the interest rates are low right now, do you guys think it's still a good time to buy a house? Because that's like the dilemma right now, right? Yeah, interest rates are low, but people are worrying about the second wave. You know what I mean? Is it still smart to lock in the low interest rate now?
I think it's definitely
100%.
Yeah, I think you should definitely buy now. I think it's still a good time to buy. I just feel that now, like, it's a good time to buy and it's a good time to refinance also if you're also already a homeowner. But I just feel like right now, there's enough people in this world that are always going to have money. Pandemic or not, billionaires are getting richer in the pandemic. So if you don't buy now, these rich billionaires and multimillionaires are going to come and they're going to sweep and they're going to buy up everything. And then you guys are going to be renting out from these billionaires. So you want to be ahead of that. You want to be a homeowner now so that you can be this person who's renting out this investment property and not a renter who's renting from somebody else. So I think now's a good time to buy, definitely, because there's going to be a lot more renters in the area. So buying as far as investment purposes, I think now is a good time because there's going to be a lot of renters coming up.
I mean, and also just getting away from renting, if you have that capacity and capability to do, that's what you need to do. I think a lot of people are afraid and timid when it comes to purchasing a home because it's just such a permanent feeling. When you rent, you feel like I can still move, I can still kind of do this, kind of do that. It's not so permanent, but you want to own. That's the goal, because when you're renting, that money is flushed down the toilet. You never see it again. You don't see a return on your investment, nothing like that. You are throwing money into the garbage. So I think people, if you are in a position to buy, you need to buy smartly, but you need to buy and not be afraid of that commitment.
Like you said, I feel like it's going to be like a domino effect because clearly, the unemployment rates are spiking as well. Millions of people. So the people who have homes already who are going to lose their properties and things like that, like Taylor said, the rental market is going to fucking skyrocket because now they have to oh shit, I'm about to lose my house and I have to rent something. And just like Ajani said, if you're a renter, you're a little more chill. You know what I mean? Maybe you've been stacking up and you're like, shit, like, fuck, I just got approved for $550,000. I'm a first-time home buyer. Like, why the fuck not? You know what I mean? So it's like, so now the renters are turning into home buyers and the home buyers are turning into renters. It's just gonna be the changing of the guard. So
exactly.
That's
the ebb and flow of real estate anyway, though, COVID or not.
Yeah.
Speaking of ebb and flow, there's been a huge increase in divorce rates because of the quarantine. People are finding out they don't really like who they with. Have you an increase?
That doesn't shock me at all.
So has there been an increase of single people looking for homes by themselves?
I mean, the divorce rate in LA was already 50%. So damn, excuse my language, but it's gone up because it was already real high out here. So
like I have a friend right now who's kind of low key or kind of working with somebody who's in the verge of maybe the divorce. You know what I mean? So it's now that you say that, I was like, damn, that makes sense because you looking at your significant other like, damn, I really don't fuck with you. Like,
oh no.
like,
why do y'all think Black people make up such a small percentage of homeowners?
Lack of knowledge, just the access to do these things. You know what I mean? Just getting the knowledge out. That's why a show is so important. You know what I mean? It's bigger than just us. You know what I mean? It's African Americans doing real estate and just showing a different avenue and just kind of trying to enlighten. You know what I mean? So the more knowledge you have of the real estate market and what's going on, the more adapt you're going to be to make purchases. But I feel like in the Black community, especially out here in Los Angeles, because you got to think, it's so spread out in these communities that they've redlined. You know what I'm saying? We can get into all that, but it's just a lack of knowledge and feel like they can attain that. Like, can I be a home buyer? Yes, motherfucker, yes. Mm-hmm. So it's just they don't feel like they can. It's like, damn, it's crazy.
Well, a lot of us, and I was part of this back in 2008, before the big crash, a lot of us were victims of the predatory lenders. Predatory lenders, like they would go after, like Black people, they would offer them crazy rates and these arms that would adjust after 3 to 5 years. So you're paying $2,500, then it adjusts, and they don't really explain all that. And you're just, oh yeah, you're so happy, they're approving everybody. A lot of Black folks got caught up in that. And Wells Fargo, I believe, and another bank, they had to pay these huge class action lawsuits out, which ended up being literally like $300 a person. You lose your $500,000 house, and you get like $300 for the practices. So what are some of the obstacles that people of color face, Taylor? Like, what would you say that?
Well, I mean, I want to say even before that even happened, like we're not taught the importance of owning because it seems so unattainable. It seems like it's something that we can't do. There's a lot of renting going on. It just seems so far outside of our reach. And we're not taught the importance of owning, not taught the importance of investing. And it's not that the knowledge isn't out there. It's because our parents don't know. They don't have that knowledge to pass down to us. So that's really one of the main purposes and soul of our show, is to be able to get that knowledge out there, that this is important, because at the end of the day, everything in business comes down to real estate. At the end of the day, when you break it down to its simplicity, it's real estate time. Like that is the essence of wealth. And as Black people, we're not taught that. We don't know anything about that. It's 2020 and we're still, as African Americans, scratching the surface on even getting to find that out, where other groups of people have so much. They're so far ahead of us on the knowledge because their parents had that knowledge, because their parents before them had that knowledge. And so we're trying to catch up. As Black people, we're always playing catch up.
So the Black homeowners still face racism from the banks? Is that still going on?
100%.
I mean, it's not supposed to. They say, fair housing opportunity, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, even just with clients, as far as being a landlord and a tenant, I have tenants who face, racism or discrimination all the time. They see, obviously you have to submit a photo of your ID with all of your applications. As soon as they see a Black person, it's, oh, you know that you can't smoke weed in this house, right? Oh, you know that there's no drug use in this house, right? Oh, I don't know. Let me see this. Let me see that. There's definitely so much racism and discrimination in as far as like houses, buying houses, and as far as renting as well. There's still definitely discrimination, and it's unfortunate, but you see that on a daily basis. And especially being Black agents, we work with a lot of Black clients. Obviously, they come to us because they want to work with people who look like them, and good for them. Thank you to all people who work with Black agents, because we need that support just like everybody else out here. But they work with us, and we have to just deal with that on a daily basis. And so it definitely is affected in the lending market, and it's affected in the rental market, and just in real estate in general, especially in Los Angeles.
Have you all experienced discrimination as, Black real estate agents?
Here's the thing with that. So I was waiting on that shit. Yeah, so I mean, it's just like it's interesting because I'm 6 foot, I'm a big dude and shit like that. And you go into the office every now and then, you see your coworkers like, oh, I'm about to go door knocking. I work in like the Valley, Encino, Sherman Oaks, Studio City and shit. And you can hear him talking about, I'm about to go door knocking. Hey, you want to, my motherfucker? Like, you know what's gonna happen if I walk through Encino right now at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, my guy? Like, give it 45 minutes and you'll see what it's like to have a police interaction, because some concerned citizen, because you're looked at as like, are you casing my neighborhood? Like, why is this Black dude walking? And then, you got the citizens apps, the My Neighborhood apps. So now it's on your photo up on the app already. But hey, there's this guy walking through the neighborhoods. I just want you guys to be literally, and I've been followed. Like, I had a woman, because, as Black people, we know the concerned citizen look. You know what I mean? So
wait, before you go on, can you just real quick, what's door knocking, just so the people at home know?
So it's farming a market. So if you're door knocking, look, I have a property, I have an open house, so I'm just trying to put my name in this area. I'm gonna go knock on the doors. You know what I mean? And hey, I'm Zach. I work for such and such company, or I have a listing down the street. So you're just trying to be personable with the neighbors and put your name out there.
So that could be dangerous actually for a Black realtor.
Oh, what? Like I got followed. Some woman literally followed me through a neighbor. I'm getting ready. I was with Alexander, who's on our show too, about to go look at a $8 million property in Sherman Oaks. And, this woman decided she wanted to follow me through the neighborhood so much as she parked. Like I parked my car and I'm not stupid. So I got out the car because I'm not dumb. I was like, okay, let me show this woman I'm non-threatening at least. You know what I mean? I'm dressed nice. So I got out the car. She pulled up behind me. I'll go up to Alexander's car. I'm looking at his window. It's like, yo, this woman right here is following me. He's looking at me. He's like, I'm like, what? I'm like, the woman who is now parking her car behind my shit is following me. You know what I mean? I'm pointing at her like, I'm on to you. Like, I know what you're doing. You better stop. Because if I come up to your window, and this is when like all the Karen shit and Kathy, you know what I mean? I was like, if I come up to your window and spit you my resume, you're going to get flamed. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I would highly recommend you just get the fuck up out of here. Like, because I could end you right now. So it's stupid. It's stupid.
Wow. And let me say, like, door knocking is not my favorite thing. And especially being Black, there is a fear there. So one of my things that I started to do when I first started doing real estate was I would hang door knockers, which is like a small advertisement that's like shaped to fit on people's door handles. But they were in black and white. They're not in color, because when you look at them, you see a cute girl, but you don't know what color I am. You see this hair, you don't know what color I am. You don't know what nationality I am. So you're going to have to call me to find that out. And it's a shame that in 2020, my door knockers are in black and white for a specific reason. But this is real. 2020.
Yeah.
It's real.
I actually didn't even realize until this became like such a topic of conversation, with the Black Lives Matter movement picking up so much momentum. I've realized that I don't think in my 4 years of real estate, almost 5 years of real estate experience now, I don't think that I have ever not once had another showing where the agent was a Black female. I don't not even really a Black male, but for sure, I have never seen another Black female real estate agent. I work in the luxury market. I work in high-end part of the Valley, and then also West Side, Beverly Hills, West Hollywood area, Hollywood Hills. We don't exist. We do not exist. I have not seen one.
I can name all the Black men. Kofi, Akeem, there's this nigga, Steve, like, there's like,
all male. You can name them.
Live Luxury LA, I forgot his name, but there's 5 of us.
How do we change that? Because, I mean, folks that know. I mean, when you get 3% of $1 million house, that's 30 racks right there. A lot
of money.
I mean, and you could turn in LA, I mean, the average house, that's not even anything, is 700,000, right? Yeah. That's what we at in a condo, about 7?
Yeah. Yeah, 7, yeah. And
so this is a really proper business.
Yeah, the Atlanta market dominated by female agents and a lot of Black female agents. The Atlanta market is dominated by them, and they are killing the game. I follow so many Atlanta real estate agents who literally are turning houses over like this, like 20 houses. Tammy sells Atlanta. Sorry, they're killing it out there. And so it's not like we're not capable. There's just not enough of us. We just don't exist. And it's like I want to encourage people, Black females who live in LA, get in this industry. It may be overwhelming when it's dominated by white males, older white males, but just get into the industry, market yourself, network, and put your foot in the door, and then just let the rest take over, because it is possible to make a living as a Black female in LA. You just have to try and do it. And it's just, I don't feel like enough people are trying out
and
here.
You know what makes me laugh? You know what makes me laugh is when people want to always compare our show to like $1 million listing. Like $1 million listing, they sell houses. I'm like, you stupid motherfucker. Okay, first of all, half those houses they sell on that shit aren't really sold. And I'm like, you understand we're trying to break into, you know what I mean? How it wouldn't be realistic if we were on our show selling houses every fucking week. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like it's not how it is out here for us. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we have to overcome. Like that's why the show is here to gain that momentum and that knowledge, that wherewithal. Like, yo, we're out here too. We do this too. So when I hear that, you guys, another episode, nobody sold a house. Shut your ass. You sound stupid. Like,
my guy, we're gonna take a quick break, and my guy KJ, he's with us. He's gonna join us in the second half of the show, as well as relationship therapist Shamyra Howard, and we're gonna talk more about this. So I'm gonna introduce y'all to another Black realtor Black man.
Yes.
I make fun of y'all, right? Yeah. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more Out Loud right after the break.
Word.
Today, I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
This little Monique tonight
Monique is on fire.
Fire.
5 women of faith, keeping it real.
I need you to respond to what little activist, soul-powered, passionate Monique had to say.
Fox Soul presents Chatter.
This is not an issue of the skin, it's an issue of the soul.
You went for God so loved the world. And it sounded like you were getting ready to tune up on Fox Soul.
Bye, Janet. It's nice seeing you again. You look good, girl. Just let me know what I can do to help.
Well, to help me, she'd have to help every day. Every hour, every ouch, every time my wife calls for help. I mean, maybe she could help me make her lunch. But the crust, all the crust has to be cut off the corners. She could help me run to the doctor for the 5th time this week. Help me with the specialist and the second opinions and the painful paperwork of our paperwork. Help me deal with how hard it is seeing my wife's name on so much paperwork. But this is on me. I'm the only one who can do this, like this, for her. Besides,
take care.
We will. Janet doesn't like her cooking anyway.
Find support for your strength. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community.
We've been told that our peaceful pleas
were not made at the right time,
at the right place,
in the right way.
We've been told to wait.
But we remember when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. warned us
that the word wait
has almost always meant never.
We will wait no longer.
We'll make our voices louder.
For all of us who can.
And for all of those who could not.
8 minutes and 46 seconds is enough time to lift a knee.
To do what is right.
To say something.
To acknowledge the pain of the Black community.
You have cheered for us,
but we need you to cheer with us now, when we need you most.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
It's our cheer for change.
It's your cheer for us. It's these cheers that will unite us.
One team.
One dream.
Be the change.
Welcome back to Out Loud with your girl, Claudia Jordan. Now, joining us now to give couples who are looking for their first home together some expert advice is real estate agent who works with the largest realtor association in North Texas and a sex expert and relationship expert. Please welcome my guy, KJ Dismute, and Shamyra Howard. Hello, Shamyra.
Hey, y'all. Hey.
How you doing?
Hey. Good. How are y'all doing?
Good.
We are good. Now, Shamyra, I got to ask you, when's the right time to start searching for a home with your significant other?
So that's the magic question, right? So if you've ever bought anything with your significant other, then you know, especially anything of value, right? Then you know that you really want to make sure that you are making a great decision. So the right time to buy this is after you know why you want to do it. So one question that I like to tell people, like when you're thinking about buying a home, what is your why, right? What is your why? It doesn't matter your relationship status as it relates to your why. So, and I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. You want to know your goals for buying a home. So is this going to be a forever home? Is this a fixer upper, right? Is this income property? So why do you want to buy a home? Because so many people get caught up in the hashtag relationship goals, and they're like, okay, if we buy a home together, then we're legit, we're official, we're in a relationship. So first, know your why.
So this is for everybody on the panel. Has searching for a home ever ruined a relationship, like together, when people do this together?
I don't know that it's ruined for me personally. I haven't had like an experience where they like break up because they like just cannot find it. But I think you definitely learn a lot about the dynamic of the relationship. You learn who's the decision maker, who's kind of just like more lenient, more laid back, and it does test your relationship. I feel like, if it's kind of like, you don't want to argue on your wedding day kind of thing. Like if you're over here trying to find your dream home and this is a stressful, negative experience for you guys, maybe you're moving a little bit too fast. Maybe again, you need to reconsider the why of what's going on.
And that's another, like being a realtor, you realize you wear a lot of different hats. You know what I mean? So I got into an escrow recently in my last, and I felt like I was a therapist going through the escrow process because the husband and wife, you know what I mean? It's the husband, it was his birthday, so my man's disappeared for like 3 days. So I'm at the wife, I'm like, wait, you don't know where this oh shit. So you're trying to literally keep this together for 35 days. You know what I mean? You're like, oh my God, like, okay, you know what I mean? So you realize you definitely wear so many different hats when you become a realtor, especially going through like the escrow process. So it's an interesting dynamic because, like Taylor said, that's when you realize, when you see it's like, oh y'all,
you got couples that on the same page. You got to deal with that.
Of course, same issues. I mean, so many stories. Let's see. The biggest things I've had are the couples that want this house or want that house, and they're just really not sure. But most of the couples that I've dealt with are already married. I haven't had any couples that were just like boyfriend, girlfriend, trying to buy a house. I'm trying to vet people that are ready, and have already gone through the whole process of saying, well, we're ready. But no, I haven't had too many of those issues.
You see, like how I've gone with them on a few, and it seems like people, like it's one couple, but they're on two totally different pages for what they like. And you're like, y'all never going to find a house that matches what you both want.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And your budget. That's another thing. The woman wants everything. She needs the walk-in closet. She needs everything. The woman is always way more picky. And the guy is typically the one who's worried about the finance. Well, how much is it? What's it going to cost? So it's definitely, both people usually play two different roles. And that definitely affects the dynamic of the group.
Mm-hmm. I've been amazed at some things that some people are like okay with. Like there were some renters, and I hope they're not watching right now, but they were two guys that want to be roommates. And there was a house, and I'm like, there was an apartment. I'm like, there's roaches. I saw like 3 roaches, and they didn't care. They just wanted to move into the place. And I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me.
And then like my first escrow, so my very first deal was with Joe and Sarah Hayden, who were former teammates of mine. And they're so in sync with each other that it was, you know what I mean? And this is my introduction into real estate. So I'm thinking, oh, this shit is easy. You know what I mean? I'm like, I hope they knew what they wanted. Showed, and I learned a lot throughout that process, you know what I mean? Because I'm showing them off market, on market, and I'm meeting with developers. We're sitting at developers' tables with his parents and shit, like, you know what I mean? But everybody was on the same page, and it was just such a seamless transaction because, they think alike. And then you see other couples, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, damn, like, okay. That's when you realize that real estate is so many different moving parts. You're like, damn, that first one, oh shit, so that's not really how it is. Like,
you got spoiled off rip.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, all right, bet, let's go. So it's so many different dynamics.
Shamyra,
yeah, you can definitely tell a lot about a couple by the way they look for a property together. You can tell who is dominant, who is a little bit more submissive, who cares about aesthetics, who cares about finances. You can just tell so much about their relationship. And if you're in a relationship at the time, you're guaranteed to reflect on your own relationship and how the home buying process might be for yourself when dealing with these couples. So it's always really interesting.
Right. Now, Shamyra, would you recommend moving in with your partner before you get married?
So, it's really interesting because lots of people do that. Like over 69% of people move in with their partners before they get married. So moving in together and buying a house together, those are two different things, right? Mm-hmm. So you can move in with each other if that's what you want to do. If you want to get to know each other and you feel like occupying space with each other because, you're just so much in love. But when you're talking about buying a home together, that's totally different when you're not married. And so the experts are here and they can probably tell you some of the trouble that people can possibly get themselves into buying a home together when they're not married, especially down the road if they decide to split. So you want to be careful to, one, do your homework when you're thinking about moving in with each other. So read the contracts, get a lawyer. And I'm sorry, Zach, but I'm going to recommend that couples lean on their realtors because, because they really, sometimes you need a mediator because, as Taylor mentioned, you fight a lot. Like there are over 50% of couples between the ages of 25 and 44 have major issues when it's time to get a house together. There are 4 things that they usually fight over, and y'all said them, right? They fight over the budget, like so how much the house costs and if they can really afford it or not, right? They fight over like if renovations. They fight over the style of the house, and ding, 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 because I need a really big closet. They fight over the size of the house. So you really want to do your homework before you decide to move in with your partner.
Yeah, because like, oh, my fault, my bad.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, because like she said, once that name goes on that title, if this isn't somebody, hey, okay, we finished the escrow process, or both names going on this title, as soon as you agree to that, if this isn't yours, if y'all, like you said, you have to have a plan. Like, what's the why?
Yeah,
because
it's a lot more
both
skin
of
in the
these names
game
are on
when
this
you're
title.
purchasing
It is
property.
a wrap for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's over. So
yeah, and real estate is buying a house is a long-term investment. So it's not like, oh, you guys split up in 2 years, let's sell this house and make profit. You might not be profitable on that house yet, depending on what the market is. So it's definitely a long-term thing, and it's pretty, it's pretty, not, I don't want to say permanent, but it's a long-term situation. So you definitely want to make sure you're doing it with the right person, because it's not like, in 2 years you sell this house and boom, you guys each have $100,000 in profit. It's not always like that. So
it's Shamyra, right?
Shamyra.
So do you see this maybe you're on different pages and now you're in that escrow process and it comes to put the names on the title and the dude is looking at the girl. Yeah, it's just gonna be my name. Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
so that
your name on it. So
so Zach, hold that thought. Answer that question after we take this break, because I don't want you to be interrupted. I want to hear your full answer. We'll be back with more right after the break on Fox Soul.
This is a message
for all the true fighters.
To all the true fighters.
True warriors.
True warriors.
The true champions.
We know that every battle comes at a price. You see it in our faces,
and we see it on yours.
So to the doctors,
to the nurses,
to the first responders,
for your bruised faces,
for your battle scars,
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for answering the bell.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for going
toe to toe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for your courage
and your sacrifice.
All of us.
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 All of us are in your corner.
Welcome back to Out Loud on Fox Soul. Now, before we went to break, Zach had a question for Shamyra about, that time you're about to buy a house and couples together and they're thinking of going in together. And one of the people says, "No, this is all me. This is me. It's my house."
So Zach, to answer your question, I usually get them after that. So sometimes people are so excited to sign their name and they're doing it, and you get that part. You're the therapist in that moment, right? So you get the, oh, wait, me. It wasn't just a me thing when we were going 50-50 over here. So now it's a me thing now. But I usually see couples after they decide to split up and they forgot that they agreed to allow their partner to sign by themselves, and they're looking for their cut. Like, well, what about me? Yeah. And so that's usually when therapists come into play after the fact and everything's over, the ink is dry, and now they are looking to split and break even, or they're looking to cut their losses and go their separate ways, and they're like, not so fast.
I had a friend that had a baby with someone, and they went and bought a house together, and literally like a month before they bought the house, he was already in a whole nother affair. Oh. And it's like, I don't even know why he went forward with this, knowing where he was at, and they had to break up after that, and she didn't want to leave. So now you have all this drama, and it's like, I don't get why someone would go into something like that, knowing what you got going on. Like, you got to make excuses like, oh, maybe we should just rent for a little while. Or,
well, sometimes people enter into these contracts thinking that if I enter into this contract, it's going to strengthen my relationship. Now you're tied to me. Now you can't leave. Now you can't mess up. And that's just such a misconception, no less than when, you know, a woman tries to, you know, tie somebody down with a baby or whatever. It's like, if I try to put you in this position where I feel like you can't leave me, you know, that's just not the way to go. But people do it.
Yeah, I feel like buying a house, like when you're married, it's community property. It's automatically split between the two of you. But when you're buying a house and you guys aren't married, I feel like you kind of need a prenup. Like, what's gonna happen if we break up? Who's getting the house? Is somebody moving out? Are we selling it and splitting whatever profits if there's any? Like, y'all need to work that out prior to. Like, it sucks that you have to go into such a positive experience with like negativity, but that is something that has to be talked about because it's something that can happen. And so I feel like that definitely needs to be established long before you even enter an escrow, long before you even start searching for a house, honestly.
And people need to do their homework.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I bought a TV for my best friend and he was living there with a roommate at the time. So they put it up on the wall. And when he moved out, they argued about that shit. Well, it was in my house, so I'm keeping it, but he bought it for me. You know what I mean? So it's like, so I can only imagine what it's like with a house. You know what I mean?
What are some of the pros and cons of buying real estate together if you're not married? What would you say?
Not married.
Yeah. Someone goes half.
Yeah, you could go half. But I guess that's a pro. But the cons are probably worse than the pros.
Yeah.
There's a lot more.
The cons are pretty heavy. The cons. That's why I recommend, Taylor, you made a suggestion to do a prenup or something, but I definitely recommend to speak with a lawyer. It's very smart to speak with a lawyer and get a realtor that you trust and who's going to tell you like the real. Get a real realtor, right? Who's going to give you some great information, and talk to an attorney about what the financial obligations would be further down the line. Because again, you want to go into this with your goal in mind. What is your overall goal? Don't go into it just thinking about how you want to live today. Like, what about 5 years from now? What about 10 years from now, right? So go into it, make sure you do your homework, get you an attorney, especially if you're not married and you're buying a house with someone.
So would it not be smart then to put the name in only, you know, the house in only one of their names?
You have to.
Hell no.
But that's another argument. But that's another argument.
My name isn't on it too. Hell no.
But that's another argument. So why do you just want to put their name on it? Are you trying to say we're not going to work out? Like, well, so what do you? So that's another argument. You know what I mean? So it's like, damn, like.
But real estate is a contract. Purchasing a home is a contract, and it's really not any different than getting married, which is a contract. So having one without the other is causing some friction. Like, why are we doing one without the other? Why am I entering into this real estate contract with you, but I'm not entering into a marriage contract with you, or vice versa? They're both essentially just contracts. So that's the conversation.
I mean, it's even like that out here in LA as far as rent. You have couples out here who are just living with each other because both their names are on the lease, and it's so expensive to move out. So now we're just roommates in this bitch. Like, I'm on the couch, you on the room.
You can be roommates real quick.
You know what I'm saying?
Real quick.
People are stuck in situations where we signed this year lease and then 3 months into it, we broke up, but I can't go anywhere else.
Because
you know what I mean?
It's so expensive to break up in LA.
It's a lot of couples that stay together just because they can't afford rent on their own. That's real
right.
shit.
That is super important.
Has anyone here had to live with someone on the same roof where it got miserable?
Oh,
not personally, but I've seen it. I've seen it, and I don't want it.
For sure. For sure.
That's a whole other thing, right? Financial intimacy is so important, especially when we're talking about buying a house. When we think about intimacy, we think about sex, but you got to think about what financial intimacy is as well. And that's why I wrote about it. You have to know what your relationship with money is. And most importantly, this person who I want to enter this contract with, what's their relationship with money? What's both of your money story, right? And because that's super important. If you know that they're already bad with money, if they go to the casino and they don't know when to stop.
Come on, preach. Because I told my boyfriend, I said, listen, I'm gonna need to see your credit report. And it took me 3 months for him to finally give it up. But I said, I need to see your credit report. I don't care if your credit is lower than low. I need to at least know where we stand so that we can work on it together. And that's a conversation that's also not being had. Like, we need to know where we stand. Absolutely. Like, let's work on it together. Let's build on it. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be ashamed. It's something that can be fixed. But I can't help you. We can't help each other if I don't know where we stand. You got to know where you stand, and that starts with honesty. So that's another conversation.
How long into the relationship are we doing it until you had that conversation? Was it immediate, or was it like?
Well, when you start talking about cohabitating, like whether it's renting or buying, like, okay, if we're doing anything together where both of our names are on anything, I need to know. But for me personally, I need to know before that, because I need to know moving forward what my options are, like, because you might not be an option. And I need to know that. And that's fair.
We got to take a quick break. We'll be back with more in just a minute right here on Fox Soul.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed to save the lives of people who are sick with a range of illnesses. It's easy and safe to give. If you are in good health, please donate. We need heroes now. Visit redcrossblood.org to schedule an appointment.
Let us not forget that we are involved in a serious social revolution. The hundreds and thousands of our brothers are not here. Those who have said be patient and wait, we must say that we cannot be patient. We do not want our freedom gradually, but we want to be free now.
Welcome back to Out Loud with your girl, Claudia Jordan. Now we're here with a cast of love and listing and relationship experts, Shamyra Howard and my guy, KJ. Zach, Taylor, Ajane, and KJ, when did you become interested in real estate? Let me ask you first, because you're quiet as everybody here.
I got interested in real estate about 2 or 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. I'm a big DIY guy, and I was in the military for 20 years and moved house to house to house. So moving has always just been part of my life, and the hunt for a new house is just kind of like gambling. It's always out there searching for that next best one. Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of it's kind of cool to walk into a house and go, oh man, and then you do it again and again and again to see if you can get the bigger and better. So with that, somebody say, you know what, you like this a little too much, and I think you should check out real estate. And so I say, you know what, maybe I will.
Made sense for you.
Yeah, it made sense, and eventually I made my way to that path.
Okay. How about the rest of you guys?
For me, when I first moved out here, I got into real estate because I thought it was glamorous. I thought it was sexy. I'll be honest. Like, I thought it was like easy. A lot of the misconceptions about LA real estate, I had those. That it was glamorous, sexy, easy. I can make a lot of money and be cute, and everybody gonna be like, "Ooh, she out there just doing her thing." But obviously, once I got into it and found out the truth about how difficult it is and developed a respect for the business of it, it became something that meant more to me because I could influence my culture and my people and to spread financial literacy and the importance of owning and investing. So it took on a whole new meaning for me. And I developed a respect for the business because of how difficult it is and the resiliency that's needed to stay in this business and actually make a living, much less become successful. So that was my journey.
Taylor?
I actually got my real estate license when I was 18 years old. And just last year, I got my real estate broker's license. So when I was 18, I just graduated high school. Literally, I got my license this summer after I graduated high school. And I was watching $1 Million Listings New York, actually. And so I was seeing that Frederick guy, and he was closing like these huge like buildings and making like $300,000, like millions of dollars, like on a commission check. So again, like Ajani said, I was like, oh yes, like I don't have to go to college. I can drop out of college and get a fat ass check and just be out here like selling these multi-million-dollar houses thinking I'm doing something, like I'm a poppin' ass bitch or whatever, you know?
Sure.
And then reality sets in, and as an 18-year-old who's from Palmdale, California, moved to Hollywood and tried to dive into the luxury Beverly Hills West Side market, reality hit me real fucking quick, and it said, slow down, bitch, you're not there yet. Let's learn the area. Let's get accustomed to dealing with this amount of like this much money in general and this type of clientele or whatever. So it took me a long time, but I dove right into the luxury market at the age of 18, and there was definitely a learning curve, to say the least. But being in the industry now for 5 years and being a licensed broker and now having my own team at the age of 23, I do feel like I got into the right industry, and it's paid off so far. So I'm happy for pushing myself to do it, but the road was not easy. It was not fast, and it was not what I saw on TV.
Wow,
that's right.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. Zach?
For me, it was more so curiosity. So it was I was drafted in 2007, right? And I'm 21 years old and I get drafted, and now I'm around all these millionaires. You know what I mean? And I don't know much about, I'm from a small town, California, went to college in Kansas. Now I'm in Houston, right? And I'm around all these millionaires and shit. And then you start realizing your time constrictions. And then one day, Mario Williams, who was the #1 overall pick, in 2006, he threw a house party, and I pulled up to this shit, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, it was. I had never seen anything like this before in my life. You know what I'm saying? I was like, and my thought, I was like, how the fuck did you find this? Like, how did you find this shit? You know what I'm saying? I was curious. I'm like, how, what the fuck? Because the guest house in the backyard was 5,000 square feet. So that should just let you know the capacity of how big this fucking house was. You know what I mean? Like, it echoed in the main house. And so that's kind of what sparked my interest. And that was in 2008, my second year. And then from there, you start, watching, like, you go home, you start watching the HGTVs and things like that. And, I'm from California, and, my brother moved to Southern California in 2010. And now, so because of that, now I'm coming back and forth visiting him, in off season, and started realizing that a lot of my teammates were coming out here to LA to train or whatever the case may be. And I'm like, well, shit, like, I know what y'all, like, we all one and the same. You know what I mean? I know what you're looking for. I'm from California, so it just kind of just made sense. I was interested in real estate, saw what was happening. And then when I retired, the Rams moved out here. So everything just kind of started happening in sequence. So that's kind of the curiosity sparked it. And I was actually doing real estate my last year in Cleveland. So I was doing my real estate principles and looking at a Cleveland Browns playbook at the same time. I'm looking at the playbook, trying to learn this shit, and doing my principles at the same time. You know what I mean? So it was it's been a hell of an interest. It's been a road. It's been crazy.
It all worked out, and it led to this show. We only have a minute left, but I just want to know, like, why should people watch the show? What do you want people to take from the show?
Like I said, it's
watch the show. We are sorry. I was about to do a whole thing.
I know.
We are perpetuating Black excellence and the importance of being a boss in real estate and investing. And this is a lane that we can all be in, and we all need to know that. And we need examples, and we are those examples. Follow us.
And Shamyra, last question. What advice do you have for couples who are starting out in the home buying process?
First, again, know your why. Have your goals. Have your list of your needs and your wants, right? And your deal breakers. And most importantly, do your homework before you do this.
Thank you so much. Great advice. You guys have a lot of charisma. I can see why you're on this show. I hope you encourage a lot of Black realtors to follow in those same footsteps. I think there's a lot of money out there, and I see y'all getting it. So I want to thank Zach Dials, Taylor Schwartz, Ajane Scott, Shamyra Howard, and KJ for joining us tonight. Thank you so much for watching us on the Fox Soul TV mobile app. Stay tuned. The Ladies of Chatter with their special guest, Simone Smith. We'll see you back here tomorrow right here on Fox Soul.
There it is.